and I'm doing a video for my CIT 225 class for database design. I'm doing this video because of a okay, so I can't go back to the assignment actually itself, but I am pretending that I'm an employee and I'm doing this assignment for my boss. He wants me to, in this theoretical scenario for a case study, he wants me to kind of reverse engineer a website and make a database, mock up a database to kind of help do the basic stuff that this website does, right? So I've already done this a couple of times, I'm not gonna lie, but I'll open up my results from it thus far. So I was working on it for a little bit, but I am going to kind of help out with the understanding. Okay, so it's already open. So I have this EER diagram. Basically, it's an ERD, which stands for Entity Relationship Diagram, I think. And yeah, so schema privileges, scripts, I have all this. So I came up with these 5 table, looks like. Got you? So, but to kind of explain it, these are the base tables that I kind of started going off of. Announcements, grades, and modules, right? So here you can see on, so Canvas, you have all your different courses, and there's a lot of information here, right? So I'm kind of focusing on a specific course, and in that course, you can see that you have the announcements, modules, and grades. These are kind of the things that you use the most. Obviously, there are other things here that help out. And to kind of help understand grades and announcements, I also added the people table in there, right? And so you can see all the relationship between all of these here in this table that I've made. Honestly, I think I'm just going to stick with this video. I'm going to do a short video, kind of explain what I did, rather than go through the process with you guys again, because I've done that a couple of times, and the last time the video hasn't rendered. As you can see, it would show up here. That's not a video. That's my save file for this. So I'm going to keep going with this, and I'm going to kind of go through this, right? So here I pressed this button and I made a table, right? And I called up what I wanted it. I just edited it in a new tab. It's a little small because I took a screenshot a second ago. But I called it whatever I want, right? Announcements, people, modules. Let's see what I haven't done. I can do syllabus, right? Honestly, syllabus doesn't really make sense though. I can do, man, I kind of covered everything that really needed stuff. Okay, course materials, right? Let's call it course materials. Course materials. That's how you made the table. I stretched it out to kind of get more things. And then I was like, how do you make a column? You just edit the column. And it actually, if you don't have any other columns, it automatically makes an ID, a primary key for you to kind of keep track of everything. And it's nice if you have a foreign key. You want to refer to a person in an announcement. Who is the author, basically? Actually, I think I want to change this a little bit, so I'll do that as I go. So we'll kind of see how we edit stuff, right? But that's kind of a bad name, so I kind of want to follow the, I kind of follow a standard in all my stuff. Course materials, course material ID, right? And then I want to have name for course material. And what else do we have? We have content, attachments, URL. Basically, we can have kind of any of the materials, we can have a URL pointing to them. Very basic stuff, you know? So I'm not going to keep this because I'm not going to kind of work it out. But you see how it's kind of made, right? So then you kind of see how everything was made. You have all the little triangles. You have the little key symbol. There's this red symbol, and there's a line. And you can see that it has linked this person ID with this person ID, right? Because there was an author for each announcement, right? So as you can see, we can see person ID is equal to person ID, but in the announcement, in the context of the announcement, I don't think that makes too much sense. So I'm going to change this to author ID, right? Does not change the thing here, keeps the relationship the same, right? And kind of have all these non-null. So this is primary key and non-null, right? As you can see, ooh, that is interesting. Okay, so we want the title to be non-null. We want the subject to be, it can be null. I think it can be no subject, basically. Content, we want that to be non-null. We don't want it to have no content. We want it to have time. We need to have an author ID. We need to know who wrote it, who wrote the announcement, right? Obviously, it would be the teacher, but there can be a TA or maybe even a student. You never know. And then 2, I just have this as a string. We could also make a new table to kind of see what group that these things can go to. Modules, I did not finish this, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this with you guys. But there is more to be had, and I can make a new relationship, and I can show you how it works. But that's kind of it for announcements. Moving on to people, person ID. Obviously, it's got its own identifier, first name, last name, and their role. And I can also make a new, again, this is the string, the varchar 45, it just means string. And we can kind of give people a specific role, and I can make a new table to kind of list out all the different roles that people can have. And it would be really easy. Honestly, let's just do it real quick. We'll call this one role. And honestly, the only thing we really need is the primary key and name of the role, right? And so the role varchar, we can actually have this be cool. So that we go back to this one, role ID, right? So instead of a role of having it be a string, be arbitrary, we have something pointing to this table of roles. We have a specific list of roles that we want people to fill in, and we do want this to be non-null. Okay, so everybody's got a role, right? Modules, kind of want to do this one together and stuff. So as you can see, it's still kind of blank. Edit modules, a new tab. So we got the module ID, obviously. We got the module. Let's see what we've got to work with. We got the module name, module type, date. This, I think we can tie that to the score and the grades, but we can kind of assign this, assign a grade ID to it, okay? And status, right? There's submitted, late, missing, and not due yet, obviously, right? So we can kind of have status on it. If we open that up, I think we can see all of that. Okay, it's got all of this here. So we've got available until, we've got all this information. This is probably going to be the most comprehensive, so I'm going to put this here. Ooh. That did not seem to quit unexpectedly. I think that was for a previous time because I'm still learning. But so we kind of got these side to side. We got modules here, right? Modules, we want, just kind of go down the list here. Due date. Due, and we can have this be a date. So you have the different objects. You can have all these different things. We usually work with int, text, decimal, which is, a number, but with decimal points, so you can have it be a floating number. Got a blob, tiny blob, our binary, dates, time, and then we got Boolean. These are all nice here. So those are all there. Actually, that just popped up just now, so I'm kind of curious to see how it works. Points, I do know that it's a float with 2 decimal points. Why is, you can see it down here in the grade section, 2 decimal points, right? And so, let's see, points. We want that to be pointing to the grades. I actually did already do the decimal with 2 decimal points. You can see that here. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a relationship. Dun, dun. Cool, that did that. And so modules column, that doesn't want. Okay, we want the grades so we can point it, so we can kind of display that in this window here. Obviously, it kind of has information for a quiz, so let's just not mind that. So we can kind of specify that. The site can kind of handle that if I give it a semblance of what kind of module it is, right? Module kind. And so what I'm going to do is make a new table real quick and call it module type. Honestly, just kind of keep it that way. Module type ID name, right? Super simple. Kind of keeps track of all the different types, and I want modules to have a reference to all that. Okay, go back to there. I did that with the hyphen. I want to keep the convention there. What else is there? So there's a module type where you can see it here. There's a little icon there. We just kind of want to have this information simple in the background, then have the site deal with it. And then hold on a second. Okay, where was that? Okay, so questions available until. So we have available due dates, due such. Time limit. This is all quiz related stuff, and that would be handled by the site if we knew it was a quiz type. Let's go back to here. So we got date, points, but that's handled by grades, as just like the quiz thing. And then status, right? Status. And I kind of want to make a new table for that, because we can have tiny tables and have them be a lot of different things. Edit table 1 and new status. So we can have this table kind of handle what statuses are available. Name, right? And the site will handle all the logic and stuff. It's not really something that you can program with a specific table. It's kind of represented by a table, you know? And then module type, grade ID. I don't want that. Okay, that was a mistake. I want this to have that. Okay. Whoa. These lines are getting funky. Okay, let's see if that, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, you can see where all the lines are going specifically. And then, cool. I think that kind of does it. It's really small to see, so I'm going to go full screen and kind of get everything out of the way. Kind of demonstrate where everything is and the rest of it. So roles, grades, So we got announcements, people, modules. I put grades down here. I would have it inline, but that's just hard to look at because all the lines are being hidden. And you can see that all the has a relationships are defined. And so the roles, I kind of went over the grades, the status. The status. Oh, I actually never needed this status here because I defined that in grades. So the link to grades will handle that. Delete module status. Oh, I never really edited. That's okay. Modules table. Okay, module status. Kind of a broken link there. You see it's blue. Delete selected. Okay, so grade will handle all of that, and status was defined already down here. Grades, kind of go over this real quick. Grade ID, module ID. It's got a link to this. You know, it's not one-to-one because it's not filled in specifically. Got a student ID. All the grades have to be. The grade has to be for each assignment. Has to be for a specific student, right? Good, and it has an assignment name for all the different rows, right? So this grades database will have all the assignments for all the students, right? And the different columns will kind of specify which one's which, and you can query it for quick and easy access. Due dates, score out of, and the status, where statuses are defined there. That's kind of all that is, and I will go ahead and press this stop button. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you had a fun time. If you have any questions, leave the link, comment down in the description. And if you have any questions, specifically, we talked a lot about primary keys, and I honestly would give that a Google and kind of see how that works for you and stuff. But the primary key with its relationship to the foreign ID, right? You can see that the top goes to something in the middle, right? For something that goes and has an arrow, right? So that's the composition of SQL. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.